Alright, so this is the last step. You're taking the beer, you pull it directly off of the burner and walk it over and put it inside a tub of water. Now if you'll notice, the tub of water is leaking out of the bottom. So I try to match the inflow of water with the outflow of drainage. It's a tricky little balance, but if you get it just right, it works out good.
So one of the reasons that you want to cool the beer down as quickly as possible is that at this point, once it's been boiled, it is very susceptible to being infected by any type of airborne bacteria. So if you notice, the lid is on the top of the pot, and the only hole that's open is the hole that the thermometer goes down into so that I can tell when it's exactly 100 degrees.
Alright, so the next step is it's cooled down to about 100 degrees and we're going to add some extra water, and I'm going to split this amount between these two.
It's important to note that the reason that I chose 100 degrees for the wort before transfer into the fermenters is that 100 degrees allows you 20 degrees of play as you blast cold city water down into it. So basically you're going to be splitting half and half, and when you're done, if it's done correctly, the 100 degrees will be reduced down to the 75-80 degree range, which is going to be perfect for your yeast starter.
Okay, so now it's time to add the airlock and the yeast. Okay, so basically what we've got here is we've got our 2 yeast packets, which I've taken and put inside. Now you want to let this sit for about 10 or 15 minutes before putting it inside the fermenter.
While I didn't show this step, I would strongly recommend using some type of funnel to get the yeast into the jar, as it gets pretty damn messy.
And so it comes full circle. Here we are, back where we started the whole process, with 2 completely different 10 gallons of beer.
And there you go. You now know how to make either 5 or 10 gallons of beer. I'll say up front that for all the materials that you saw and all of the equipment that I was using, the initial investment is around $1,200. So that's kind of the cost of being able to produce all the beer that you want. But here's the good part. You can make as much beer as you can possibly drink, plus have some to give to your friends, and it's only going to cost you a fraction of what it would cost you if you were just going to buy it. I also want to note that the amount of labor involved is not for the faint of heart. I have a basement that I use for my fermentation process, but I still have to carry 85-pound jugs filled with liquid in a glass container down into the basement and then back up again when it's time to rack out. So there's a lot of work involved. It's also important to remember that while this clip still took a long time, the actual amount of time for this entire process from start to finish is about 4.5 hours to actually make the wort, and then probably another 2 hours to rack it off with all your cleaning and sanitation. But other than that, that's it. I wanted to also mention that of the packets that I use ale yeast, because ale yeast is the best for room temperatures. Lager yeast takes a lot longer, and one of the whole things I'm trying to do is turn out enough beer that I don't have to let the beer sit for months and months and months before it tastes decent, hence the use of oatmeal. So congratulations. Hopefully you can take and use this knowledge to the best of your abilities. Appreciate you watching. Thanks.